How did a kid from the mean streets of Binghampton, Memphis, a place where dreams go to die before they have the opportunity to be born, become one of the most exhilarating players in the history of the sport? Born under a bad sign on July 18, 1971, Anfernee Penny Hardaway was dealt a rough hand from the beginning: an absentee father, a teenage mother, a community in crisis. But Penny not only survived, he thrived. His name would soon reverberate through NBA arenas and move a generation. How does he make the leap from a kid playing hoops in dusty backyards to being a global icon and visionary legend? And how he rose from adversity to redefine success on and off of the court. Join us on this journey into the man named Penny Hardaway, a story of grit turned into greatness. In the core of Binghampton, Memphis, the boy had a father who wasn't around, and a teenage mother, Sarah Anfernee, who tried like hell but had little to give the boy other than her love. Through these tribulations, Penny encountered his guiding star, his grandmother, Yvonne Pledger. As a stable force in their lives, she embraced him in all the warmth of her motherly care and guided him with a will of iron as she fought to keep him from the madness of the streets around them. In a world of instability, Yvonne provided something Penny desperately needed: a base. Basketball had come to mean more for Penny than some mere diversion. It was his refuge. He dribbled down dusty alleys with boundless determination, the sound of the ball echoing his dreams of leaving behind a life of broken streets and broken dreams.
From Binghampton's cracked streets to the high school gym court's polished parquet, Penny Hardaway was climbing the mountain. His childhood dreams of leaving the shadows of his neighborhood behind felt like they were within reach. Basketball was no longer just a game, it was his ticket to a better life. His height and dazzling court vision, combined with his near-supernatural instincts, made him a local legend. There was no doubt about it, Penny was destined for greatness. But life, unpredictable as it is, had one more test for him. On a fateful night, Penny was in his old neighborhood hanging out with pals. The air was thick, the night still until it wasn't. A loud crack of a gunshot interrupted the silence. All of the sudden, there was chaos. And then, in the blink of an eye, a stray bullet sliced through the night and hit Penny in the foot. In those few seconds, his basketball future, his dreams, maybe his career, everything he'd worked for, felt like it was hanging by a thread. Just imagine it, the pain, the disbelief. A boy who had the world at his feet, unceremoniously set aside by a mindless act of violence. For most, this would have made for the tragic ending to the story. But Penny Hardaway was not like most. The doctors performed their part by fixing his foot, but Penny devoted herself to his emotional recovery. Pain turned into fuel, setbacks into lessons, and doubt only strengthened his resolve. He came back to the court not just to play but to show that nothing, not even a bullet, could stop him. This wasn't just a return, it was a statement. Penny was no longer just playing basketball, he was playing to change his fate. Beat every odds, Penny stepped back on the hardwood, not only with his ability intact but a newfound fire burning his heart. The Memphis streets that had once brought so many challenges now cheered for the boy who refused to give up. If you were in Memphis during Penny's ascent, you couldn't miss the buzz. His name was on everyone's lips at Leicester High School, tall in stature, as well as symbolically. Penny was no ordinary basketball player, he was a phenom. Fans flooded gyms to see him guide his team to victory after victory, his athleticism leaving defenders scrambling and spectators breathless. By the time Penny got to Memphis State University, he wasn't merely a local sensation anymore. He was a beacon of hope in a city starved for something to believe in. What's more, at 6 feet 7 inches he had the complete package, a forward size, a guard's finesse, and every no-look pass, every slice into a lane, every brilliant moment felt like magic. Did you see Penny last night? Man, that was the talk in every barbershop, on every corner. His court vision? Pure Magic Johnson. His scoring? Jordan-esque. But what made Penny different wasn't just his game, it was his link to the city. Memphis had its struggles, but Penny had given it something to rally around. When he was averaging 22, 8 points and 5 assists per game, he wasn't merely compiling numbers. He was putting Memphis on the map, telling the world that talent could come from this proud, resilient city. and Memphis responded. They weren't just cheering for Penny, they were believing in him. Each dunk, each assist, each victory was a collective achievement, a narrative of overcoming adversities. United. Penny wasn't only playing for himself, he was playing for Memphis, for the children dribbling on those very cracked streets, dreaming even bigger because he showed them it was possible. The kid from Binghampton was a hero, and he was just getting started. Penny's meteoric ascent at Memphis State University had just begun, with their hometown hero illuminating the court brighter than ever. The basketball world had no choice but to pay attention. The NBA was calling, and Penny Hardaway was poised to answer, taking the hopes of Memphis with him onto the grandest stage. In 1993, this was the moment every young baller dreams of. Penny Hardaway stood on the verge of greatness in being the third overall pick in the NBA draft. But then his story took an even greater turn when he was traded to the Orlando Magic. There he joined forces with none other than Shaquille O'Neal, a man of a similar stature on and off the court. How about the chemistry between Penny and Shaq? Electric. They were more than teammates, they were the show. Their highlight reels, full of alley-oops, impossible passes and thunderous dunks, were always must-see TV. Each game was an event. Each play an experience fans would discuss for days. He made sure he belonged immediately, and then some. Penny didn't wait long to make his mark. He burst onto the scene in his rookie season with 16 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. But he wasn't only dominating the court, he was emerging as a cultural icon. Nike felt the spark, and sent off its mythical Penny sneaker line. All of a sudden, kids everywhere wanted to be like Penny. His jersey flew off the shelves, a symbol of style and skill. Then came 1995. Penny and Shaq took the Magic to the NBA Finals. It wasn't an easy road, but their swagger, skill and determination made them the team to be watched. It ultimately ended with a loss to the Houston Rockets, but the trip further solidified Penny's superstar status. Penny Hardaway was 24 and living a dream. He was more than a basketball player. He was a phenomenon, an NBA superstar, a style reference and a reminder of what could happen when ability met hard work. The world was at his feet, and as for Penny, the possibilities felt infinite. Penny Hardaway was one of the most dominant forces in the game from 1995 to 1997, 4 straight All-Star selections, Olympic gold in 1996. He was at the height of his career, dazzling fans and dominating defenders. Penny's not just playing basketball, he's reshaping it. But life, like basketball, doesn't always follow the script. At first it was a twinge in his knee, then another. At first, it didn't seem like anything, just the toll of a demanding game, but the injuries mounted, each one slowly eroding the player who once glided easily above the rim. Penny was familiar with hardship, but this was different. The man who once tore through defenses like they were made of walls of rotted wood was now fighting to get on the court. His explosiveness dulled, and the gravity-defying moves that had turned him into a superstar became memories replayed on highlight reels, and the world watched, hearts breaking, struggle as Penny did to acclimate, to adapt, to stay in the game. And fight he did. Penny Hardaway's hadn't been one to throw in the towel. Even as injuries prompted him to reinvent himself, he provided moments of brilliance, moments that reminded everyone why they had fallen in love with his game in the first place. The statistics may not have matched, but Penny's legacy stretched well beyond the box score. His toughness, his refusal to quit, inspired fans and teammates alike. He was emblematic of tenacity, an example that true greatness is not only how far we ascend but also how we emerge each time we stumble. It wasn't just about chasing a basketball anymore, their heroics were about heart and grit. The heart and grit of a man and a team unwilling to let the world, or sports, define their lives. He worked his way through the ranks to finally land a job as the head coach for his former university. Stepping into the University of Memphis basketball program, he threw himself into molding the next cadre of athletes. Penny wasn't just a coach, he was a mentor, showing young players the ropes of life and basketball. Under his guidance, Memphis basketball prospered, showing that his legacy was just beginning. Penny Hardaway's story isn't just about basketball, it is about grit, redemption and using success to lift others. From the streets of Binghampton to NBA stardom and back to Memphis as a coach, Penny's journey is a reminder that greatness isn't measured by trophies alone. Obstacles became opportunities for him, and he left behind a legacy that will be admired for generations. The end is just a new beginning. Overcoming Dirge. Thanks for watching.